I was playing Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi because you said something. Folks, if you've never paid attention to the show, the beauty is people said, how did you get to almost 2,200 shows? And I said, it's simple. I'm an idiot. And I never do notes. There's no show notes or anything.
And you partner with idiots.
I partner with bigger idiots than me, perhaps, because they don't know how to tell me no. So,
which is why I'm here on a Friday.
I said to Anna, I said, Anna, you got anything over there? And she brought up a couple of things. And one of the things you brought up was, you said, oh, I got some notes about low-carb San Diego.
Yeah.
And as soon as that's one of the last things you said to me. You said like 4 or 5 things.
Yeah.
I got this guy off of Twitter, the whole thing. And we never discuss it because I don't want to discuss it before.
No. We don't want to do the show off the show.
Right. We do the show on the show.
Right.
And I don't want to go, hey, I'm going to say, and then you're going to say, and then, no, that's morning talk time radio, drive time radio. That's not what we do here. I want to hear it fresh.
Right.
But you said, oh, I got low-carb San Diego here. And immediately my brain went right to, it's all the same. Only the names have changed. And I went, oh boy.
Okay, got it.
Gotta pull it up. And here's the thing. I didn't know how long the buildup was on that song, but as soon as I started hearing it, since I know that song so well,
right,
I went, oh, I know when they're coming in. So I can just talk about Anna's sauce here for a second, because I know those wops ain't coming in for another good 20 seconds.
Right. And those are Jersey wops.
Oh, those are Jersey wops. They want to hear about sauce and powder.
They do.
Yeah.
They want to hear about the gravy.
Yeah, they want to hear about the gravy. I mean, so it's so funny. I was talking about Bon Jovi this morning with Serena. Don't ask. That's what we talk about. Great.
That's a beautiful relationship.
People want to know, like, you're with a Bon girl. What do you guys talk about? Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi. That's what we talk about.
Yeah.
Anyway, Anna. As a matter of fact, Richie Sambora's kid and Tallulah graduated together. They were both lifers at Viewpoint. They've started.
Richie Sambora's kid with Heather Locklear?
Yeah, the one that now looks like Heather Locklear. Yeah, nice little girl. Cute,
I bet.
Don't know her very well. She was always participating in school stuff. They always showed up, even though I don't think they were married the whole time. I know they weren't married the whole time. They broke up during that 12, 13 years, but they were both still there, both good parents. And always there. So that's why whenever I see people go, oh, did you see Heather is back in the house? It's like, you know what? People have problems, man. People, so she's a celebrity. You had a poster of her in your bedroom when you were a kid. I get all that. But guess what? She's also a human being. And they have feelings, and they feel just like you, and they got fucked up problems and everything, just like everyone else.
Some would say more fucked up problems.
Oh, well.
From what I've witnessed. Not of them. I'm just saying
here's, and I don't think I'm the only one that would say this, but if you are already messed up and you're a celebrity with lots of money, it allows you to have enough yes people around you and stay more fuck. That's right. You're not able to unfuck yourself. You don't have to wake up and go to work tomorrow morning in some cases.
Right.
I would say Heather's been on a half dozen shows. She's got what they call mailbox money.
Yeah.
That can keep you fucked up. Right? You can hire enough people around you to keep you perfectly fucked up. I'm sorry I'm using that word so much, but people think, oh, money is no. The money makes things worse in almost every case.
Money and tequila, it just magnifies who you were that day inside.
But tequila in a good way, right? We're talking about tequila.
This is what I've observed. Tequila and money both will magnify the mood that you're in.
Yeah.
And who you know what I mean? So if you're in a good mood and you have some tequila, you're going to be in a great mood. If you're in a bad mood and you have some tequila, you're going to be nasty. He's pulling up a song.
Oh, yeah.
It's impossible for Vinnie to listen to a woman talk.
I can't play it during the show because I promised Bill. they're rushing this in, and Bill is busy with a real movie.
Well, let me say this. I know you're getting ready to play something, but can we get let's get to this low carb San Diego stuff, because this is the Friday show, not the Monday show, and people come here for an expert. And unfortunately, you shanked. Next week, Nina Teicholz is going to be on, which is going to be amazing. Right. But this week, they're stuck with me. Yeah, so I want to give them some value.
If you feel like you're stuck with Gina, Anna this week,
or Gina, well, whoever I am, it doesn't matter who I am. I'm just a warm body.
Whichever young, cute chick is on the other mic. If you feel like you're stuck with them, we got the wonderful Miss Nina Teicholz coming on next.
Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, I'll be gone soon. You don't have to listen to me for that long.
So, Anna, yeah, we do real stuff on a Friday show. So
that's why I thought this would be interesting. You know our friend David Robinson, right? My Unremarkable Brain.
Yeah, great book. He's been on the show a couple of times. His book is part of the Vinnie Book Club. If you go to VinnieTortorich.com, he's also he was a rower through college.
Mm-hmm.
Guy knows how to row. Yeah, I like him. Very smart.
He's great.
Guy. Every time
very smart guy. His book, My Unremarkable Brain, is fantastic. Both Vinnie and I are in it, interviewed. Yeah. But that's not why it's great. It's great because of other reasons. And he has a Substack, it's just unremarkablebrain.substack.com. And he did a great summary. I guess he tuned into Low-Carb San Diego virtually.
Okay.
And he actually did a good summary. And here's the thing that I liked about Dave's summary is that he just published the stuff that he thought was interesting, which, since I like his Substack, I also thought it was interesting. And I'm hoping that you do too. Because I'm sure there was a lot of BS also happening, just like we see BS at these conferences, and you have to really find the message that you want to hear and seek out the doctors that you want to hear from, and listen to them. So I feel like he did a good job covering the stuff that was groundbreaking and interesting.
Oh, that reminds me. I talked about this. I want to talk about it with you. Protein versus fat.
Great.
Fat. Remind me after we talk about this. You see, folks, this is how the show works. She says something, reminds me of something. All right, I want to talk about
since you wrote it down and I'm about to read something, you're going to have to bring it up. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay, great. Look, it's written down on my piece of paper here.
So, do you know Brian Lenzkes?
Very well. Yeah, he's a doctor. I met him at Low-Carb San Diego 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, he is covering stress. He was covering stress and I like this and again, I'm reading from Dave Robinson's unremarkablebrain.substack.com. So I want to give him the credit here for writing this. He said in a previous podcast, I talked to Dr. Brian about how he uses a CGM, continuous glucose monitor technology, to help patients understand their blood sugar and to help them keep on track with their diet. This time he talked about how, taken all together, all that CGM data pointed to something interesting: the role of stress in our metabolism. Starting out with the anecdotal, he said he has seen many patients struggle to lose weight whenever they go through stressful times, whether it be a big deadline at work, moving to a new house, family struggles, whatever. He then went on to present slide after slide of actual CGM readings showing his patients' blood glucose can go up and stay elevated through times of stress, even when they're sticking on a low-carb diet. And I just thought that was an interesting thing, because you and I talk a lot about stress management and how maybe we're not the best at it either.
I've actually talked to Brian about this.
Yeah.
Because I've been saying this for years. So stick with me here, Anna. I've been talking every now and then. I talk to a woman named Kim. You might see her out on the Twitter sphere and the whole thing. So Kim and I, we're close to the same age, and same kind of sensibilities, and we laugh at the same stupid stuff. And I got on the phone with Kim because Kim was having trouble staying on NSNG or any kind of low carb whatsoever.
Meaning she booked a consult with you?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, consult. So,
I just want to, in case anybody's listening and it's like, how do you get Vinnie on the phone? You book a consult.
Yeah. It costs a couple of bucks. So Kim works 3 jobs. Literally. I mean, I jokingly told her, I said, you're like a Puerto Rican who just came to this country, because they're the hardest working people in the world. They'll come here and do, in my country, I was a doctor, but here I sweep this, I clean that, and I do 3 things. The hardest working people in the world. Kim is the same way. But because of that, she doesn't get very much sleep. This is a stressful situation. And then she'll get hungry at weird hours because she's still awake. I'm not going to go through Kim's 3 jobs, but we've talked about it's 3 legitimate jobs.
Yeah.
And, she has to work around that because, she needs to get rest. She needs to get sleep. And that's the biggest part, because when she gets tired and she gets cranky and she wants to grab for the junk food.
Right.
Right. And at work, at one of her jobs, junk food is available and people bring junk food in as a reward. It's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
Stress is a real thing.
I think that happens at a lot of offices.
The other thing I hear, over and over and over on the consults, people are finally coming out of the fog of COVID.
Yeah.
Let me explain what I mean by that. COVID, for the most part, and folks, I don't give a flying shit what your political views are. We had this figured out a year ago. People going back to work, people stopped wearing masks. We stopped calling everyone a hero. We went back to normal life, right? For the most part, unless you live in Los Angeles, apparently, because every time I go there, it's kind of like finding a Vietnamese 10 years out in the jungle after the war, thinking the war is still going on.
Yeah.
That's the way Los Angeles is. But the rest of the country moved on.
Right.
Now people are calling me, they're getting back on their feet and they're going, Vin, I was doing so well. I lost, fill in the blank, 100 pounds, 80 pounds, 120 pounds, 70 pounds, 60 pounds. I changed my life with NSNG. I know it works. I know what's coming next out of their mouth. Because I'll say, well, what happened? And they'll say, well, COVID. And I'll go, okay, tell me about your COVID. Well, I was working from home. Me and my wife and my 3 kids live in, 1,800 square feet. For 5 people, that's very small. And on and on and on and on. And we just couldn't, we just started eating ice cream every night. And at first I was staying away. Or me and my husband, and we were blah, 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 and COVID. And next thing you know, we're fighting with each other. And next thing you know, we're calling every night, ordering pizza in. Right. Other people is like, yeah, COVID was great because we finally got to work from home. I got to see my loved ones. It was wonderful. Everyone was working from Zoom. It was all wonderful, but we couldn't go anywhere at night. We would all sit down and watch a series of blah, blah, blah. And that's when the food would come out. And I started noticing my wife, because it was comfort food, they started buying Oreos and they started buying whatever the junk food is.
Yeah.
And at first I was staying away, and then they were going, oh, you're a fuddy-duddy. And I'm having 1 or 2 Oreos. Before you know it, I'm eating a sleeve of Oreos every night and drinking a Coke again. And here we are. Right. These are stories I hear because everyone's coming out of that fog now, because even though COVID has, quote unquote, been over with, people didn't go back to the old habits.
Right.
Some people are now working from home all the time.
Yeah.
Some people didn't go back to the office. The office says, you know what? You guys could keep working from home. You're more productive that way. They're around home life. You and I have been doing it our whole life.
Right.
We know how to do this.
Exactly. And let me interject by saying, if you were somebody who before COVID says it's impossible for me to eat NSNG because I work at the office and they bring in the treats and then I have to do work lunches and client dinners and yada, yada, yada. And now you're saying I'm working from home and it's all this junk food all the time. I would just take a look at that. That's all I'm saying. Because I do hear the same things over and over again. I'm like, I get it. You're going to be exposed to these foods. I get it. Yes. 2 days ago, I drove Lauren to the grocery store because he wanted ice cream and it was 110 degrees. And I drove him to the grocery store and I waited in the car and I actually filmed. I don't have my phone with me, but I filmed him coming back out. And he was pissed at me because I was like, what'd you, and I sent it to friends. I didn't post it publicly. I was like, what'd you get? He's like, stop it. Stop filming me. And he had a McConnell's mint chip and he had the Fat Boy. They literally call the ice cream Fat Boy. That's what it's called. Okay. They had the Fat Boy ice cream sandwiches. And so he had both of those things. And so I get it. So don't tell me, you know what I mean? I was like, I get it. I live with ASAG, all sugars, all grains. But there comes a certain point where it's going to have to be, you're going to have to make a reckoning with yourself and be like, the joy that I thought I would get from eating those junk foods, those comfort foods, those things is not the same as feeling healthy and
right.
My body not breaking down at every second. And then maybe it's just vanity. Maybe it's like, well, nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. You know, some people are motivated by that phrase. I'm not, but if you are, great. But you know what I mean? There comes a point where it's like, all we heard before pandemic was that they have Krispy Kreme at the office. And so how can I resist that? To now it's, well, they bring Krispy Kreme at night for movie night. How can I resist that? I'm like, that's the point, is that you're going to have to figure out a way to let those emotions be treated. You know what I mean?
I do a thing, you know, Tallulah finally left town, finally. But when she was here, our house became, you know, party central for her friends in law school, because we had a pool and a big backyard. And Tallulah would come over with a half dozen friends. They would barbecue, and then she would, you know, they didn't want to take it all with them. They would leave a lot of it here. And I could pull skin off of chicken and eat the chicken without the barbecue part on it, because they slather, you know, they put the icing on the barbecue. They're not doing Anna's powder or anything. And there's so much we could do. And then I'll open the freezer and to get some ice cubes, and I'll see, oh, they had ice cream here too. And they left a lot of ice cream. I'm not bigger than that. I am not big. I'm Italian. We cannot beat ice cream. You cannot beat the ice cream. And I would call Tallulah, it's like, Tallulah, please come by and pick it up, or I'm going to be wasting a lot of money that you might want or your friends might want. Sometimes she would come by, other times throw it out. If she's not here in a half a day, it's gone. It's gone. I can't keep it around.
He won't let me throw out those horrible low carb Pop-Tarts that I got sent to me. What was that, like 6 months ago? He won't let me throw them out, and he won't eat them. And I'm certainly not going to eat them. He won't let me throw them out because he won't waste the money. And I'm like, we've hemorrhaged money on dumber shit. Plus we didn't pay for those. Those just magically appeared at the front doorstep. Right.
But you see, that's that poor Italian thing. I grew up with that too.
I know.
We have a whole fridge in the back that's full of, I call them Tallulah drinks. They buy them for their friends.
I know. We have the High Noon hard seltzers that have been in there 18 months now in the fridge. And again,
sit there.
I had Cokes and Diet Cokes from my 40th birthday party that you came to.
Yeah. Still have them.
No, until we moved out of North Hollywood 2.5 years ago. And I finally was like, I'm throwing these out. Because I was always like, well, we'll keep them. If a guest comes over and they want a Coke or a Diet Coke, I have a Coke or a Diet Coke.
Yeah.
It's so funny. But I get it, being exposed to it. And I will say this. Whatever your trigger thing is, you're going to have to figure it out, and you're going to have to address it. And it sucks. And sometimes it might be a little uncomfortable. I've told a story of how I went to a July 4th party a few years ago, and I was doing a challenge where I was like, no cheat bite, no cheat NSNG bites, no dairy bites, and no sips of alcohol. And I went to the party, and because it was like day 3, I was not solid in it. So I just had to announce it I'm doing this thing.
I'm doing something.
I'm doing a thing.
Y'all got to hear it.
And then of course everybody's like, ew, gross. You're terrible. Why are you doing that? You're boring.
Monday was Labor Day.
Yeah.
And went kayaking with Dave the kayaker, and Joey Schott, the guy who I'm building my kayak with. And Joey's wife came over. She's a great kayaker too. And I've met Joey's wife a couple of 2 or 3 times. And I had her sized up because they all came to the house for a little, wine and cheese, except it was scotch and cheese.
Yeah.
And I looked at her and I went, you know what? She's younger and she's got a tattoo or 2. So I said, hey, Leslie, you into any of these hard seltzers and this? And she goes, what you got? I went, I got a fridge full. And I said, just go through.
I give them to millennials.
And if you want to take them home, take them home. Take whatever you want home. I'm trying to get them out of here because that's a fridge I need to put other stuff in.
See, I'm going to do that with Megan because Megan's got to come stay at the house while we go to a wedding in October. And I'm going to she's a millennial, so she'll take all the alcohol. I'll be like, here, you take this.
Yeah.
And she'll take it. But no, I agree. You have to.
Otherwise,
anyway, we
it's
got
just
off
going to
course.
sit there, right? No, that's not off course. Because here's the other thing I tell people, and I've been saying this for 40 years in my practice. Whenever I go into someone's house and I go through their pantry, people want to know what I did with these celebrities. Here's what I did with them. I go through their pantry. You need to throw that away, this way. And they'll go, no, you don't understand. I don't eat that all the time. And I would say, you don't understand. Eventually it's going to go through your liver and you're going to have to process that. Is making my job impossible. So either that goes or I go. And they go, oh, come on. And it's like, no, that's the choice. I can't win. I like to win.
Can I say that to Lauren?
Sure. See how that works.
No.
Might call you bluff.
Listen, ice cream's not my temptation. In fact, I actually rarely have any temptations because you know why? Because I'm in a tremendous amount of pain and have autoimmune that I have found that the cheat bites are not worth it, but that's my journey. And I had to go through doing it and seeing what happens with my body when I have the cheat bites.
You're absolutely right.
So just know that you're on your own journey. But all I'm saying is to point out, like, listen to when you're saying these things, because there's probably something really meaty there about like, why do the Oreos fill this void? What's really going on? And it probably needs to be addressed. That's all.
So
no big
that's
deal.
The first question of all the questions of, let's go to another one of,
okay. But so stress and the COVID thing you were talking about, like this COVID thing has not passed. There's the actual physical actions that we took or didn't take because of COVID. Either we weren't moving our bodies and we were very sedentary, or we were eating all the things. And then there was like a small minority of people who got jacked and ripped during COVID. And so people were like you losing the COVID-15, or no, you wanted to gain the COVID.
I gained the COVID-15.
15 pounds of muscle.
Look at that.
That's right. There it is right there.
Yeah.
I didn't know it's coming to a gun show.
You know what? That's the COVID 7.5. That's the COVID 7.5.
7.5.
15 right there. You want to see
penis measurement joke too?
You want to see something
about 7.5? Not
you want to see something else?
Yeah, show it to me.
Yeah. You want to see it?
Yeah.
How much would you give me if I just yanked it out and just left it on this video?
Oh, I thought you were talking about another bicep muscle.
No. Yeah, if you want to call it a bicep muscle.
Is that what you call it?
It's ripped and veiny. All right, let's move on. This is
okay. So the important thing being stress. And what was interesting is that, for example, the other day, I got a 1.4 on my ketosis reading. And this is about, I want to say 1 p.m. And I had not eaten other than having some coconut oil in my coffee and a nut butter. That's it. Right. One of your NSNG Foods. And I was having physical pain, stress, which we've talked about, you and I,
right,
that I'm trying to figure out, and stress, business stress, and just, life stress. And my sleep score every night for the Oura ring is terrible. In fact, a girlfriend of mine came to stay over Labor Day, and she gets like 95s on her sleep score, and I always get 75s. And I was like, what? And we compared our chart, because I'm like up, awake. It's like,
right.
And I'm like, oh, that's the hour when I read in the middle of the night. And that's the other hour that I just read in the middle of the night. And then the rest of the times are me just getting up. And she was like, how do you function during the day? I was like, I don't know. I've just trained myself to function during the day.
Anna. That's all stress, man.
That's all stress. So the thing that got me was I tested my blood sugar, 138.
In the morning?
138. No. At 1 p.m.
And you have 1.5?
Uh-huh. So this is what I'm saying, what stress does to cortisol to elevate your blood sugar. Anyway, I just want to, and that's just me. That's my experiment. That's my body. That's what I'm doing.
Not hard science, folks. Anna's telling you what happened to her.
That's exactly right. So next from Low-Carb San Diego, we've got Peter Ballerstedt, PhD.
Another favorite. Both of these guys, folks, have been on the show several times in both stellar performances. Peter, one of my favorite all-time guests. He's probably been on, a Gary Taubes or a Nina Teicholz amount of times.
The reason why I love this so much is because I want to give a little predecessor prologue. I think the vegans have been tremendous at getting their message out. I think the vegans have the best PR, word of mouth, whatever you want to call it. They get these lies that they tell about the environmental health your health. They get them out there so well. They disseminate information. Vinnie, am I right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's no two ways about it. They use the same logic as PETA. If we can't tell the truth, just go ahead and lie.
They spread information like the best I've seen, like the best of them. Propaganda, as it were. I would call it propaganda.
It is.
So Peter Ballerstadt said, hold on, let me get back to this. Quote, this is, again, reading David's Unremarkable Brain Substack, which everyone should subscribe to. This was a jaw dropper. Ballerstadt, forage agronomist, spoke about the health value and sustainability of meat, in particular ruminants like beef and lamb. His presentation was a blitzkrieg of truth bombs, each blowing up the anti-meat narrative that seems to be everywhere today. He pointed out, for example, that despite what we hear, the world is already eating a plant-based diet. 84% of calories globally come from plants, 73% in the developed world, and that the most plant-based, 89%, is in the developing world. Yet, despite eating such an ideal diet, those countries have the highest rates of nutrition-related disease.
There you have it. Peter,
so here's the thing.
Same things in this podcast, but go on.
Says Ballerstadt, quote, the average American with type 2 diabetes uses pharmaceuticals equal to 2 metric tons of CO2. If their use of those diabetes-specific pharmaceuticals was eliminated, it could result in a reduction of almost 50 million metric tons of CO2. End quote. How could this be achieved? By cutting the carbs and eating more meat. So it's an interesting thing. And I say, if the vegans are great about getting their message out there, we need to be great about getting this message out there and spread Dr. Peter Ballerstadt's message of meat is actually sustainable.
Yeah.
So y'all read this article and click the links and spread the word.
Did you see my Instagram yesterday where I was comparing Tesla to the diet? Yeah. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I knew when I put that up that I would get a lot of kickback of people going, what does this have to do with anything? And you know what you're talking about. Stay in your lane. And boy, did I get that. But I don't care. I didn't go argue or fight with them. The fact that they're wrong is fine with me.
Yeah.
You know, but it's very simple. You want to have an electric car, fine. It's your choice. But do not think for 1 minute that somehow you're saving the planet or that you're saving energy, because you're not doing either. Now, can that happen in the future? Yes. Are we there now? No. One guy said to me, he said, oh, you say it takes more, but we can run these plants on solar, lava, or wind. Yeah, but guess what? None of that happens here in the United States. So what you're saying does not apply to where we are right now. Can we be there in the future? Yes. Can it be the near future? Absolutely not. The infrastructure that would have to go into solar, wind, or lava would be astronomical.
Yeah.
So don't bring that argument to the table because it's not possible. And the way we are right now is not even probable. And I didn't even address in my 45-second video that you got a fucking lithium battery that nobody knows what we're going to do with when these cars are done.
That's right.
And for all of you people who yell about slavery and blood diamonds and everything else, who do you think's mining this stuff?
Yeah.
You think
it's a hot mess all around.
Yeah. So I don't want to hear how good these electric cars are when there's so much wrong around the electric car. Will it get better? Probably. Should it get better? Hopefully. And when people go, well, Vinnie, what kind of power would you use? I would go, I would look at splitting an atom because that seems to work. And then people go, oh no, nuclear, we can't do that. Can't do Why not? 3 Mile Island, Chernobyl. You know, they just start yelling out words, right? They just start yelling out words. And I sit there and go, okay, fine. And I even saw in a couple of the people writing to me, well, 62% of that, 27% of that. What do you have to say? I don't have anything to say about it because I don't have a horse in a race. I'm just saying that we're going with this lie right now that somehow electric cars are going to save the world. Yet we haven't figured out the biggest part of the problem, how we're going to power these cars. We're not set up to do it. When LA has a 2-week heat wave, the power grid, they tell you not to use your hair dryer. I lived there for 30 years.
I have the text. Good, it came through today from
Thank
4
you.
p.m. to 9 p.m. And I'm not in LA. I'm north of LA. Right. But PG&E said PG&E who have
don't dry your hair, Gina.
PG&E who've routinely mismanaged everything says don't run your air from 4 to 9 or you will shut down the power grid.
Yeah, they can't. We can't run air conditioning there, and they want to do electric cars by 2030.
Oh, it's a mess.
Good luck.
And by the way, I have an electric car. It's a mess. Trust me. I know.
And I tell people all the time, it's a good idea. We're not there yet. People go,
I agree.
When are you going to buy an electric car? Probably in my lifetime, it's not going to happen because we're not going to get there in my lifetime.
Yeah, it's going to take a long
60.
time.
We're not getting there that quickly. I'm sorry. I know everybody thinks it's a great idea and everybody wants to do it. It's fine. But if you really want to save energy, go Ed Begley Jr. and get yourself a fucking bicycle because that's how you're going to do it. You got to go.
We went to dinner with Ed Begley a few years ago. And it was so funny because we were there with his wife and his daughter, who's Lucy's friend. And we're having the dinner at the place in Studio City. I don't know if it's there anymore, but I can't remember what you would know what I'm talking about. Right. It's near Dupar's. Anyway, so we're and Rochelle and Hayden get in the Prius, and then we get in our gas guzzler, and then Ed gets on his bike. And he's hugging everybody. He's like, "See you guys. We'll see you soon. We'll see you soon."
He won't even ride home with his family, right?
No, he gives us all hugs. Then he points to Rochelle as he gets on his bike and he goes, "I'll see you in hell," to his wife. And then he gets on his bike and he zooms off. And it was honestly one of the funniest moments I've ever seen. Obviously, he's joking, you guys. No, but he's Ed Begley and he's hilarious. He rode his bike home. He
is living
from dinner.
Like if anyone wants to have the conversation with me, you need to be at Ed Begley Jr. level for me to have that conversation with you, because Ed literally, if I remember right, like if he has an indoor bike, is hooked to a generator.
Yeah, he's helping. Yeah. And by the way, he gets in fights with Bill Nye, the science guy, who is his neighbor, about this stuff, and they both kind of try to outdo each other, which I think is kind of amazing.
Give my left nut.
Wouldn't it be amazing to just sit and have coffee with them? Yeah,
those two. But look, I get it. We need to get somewhere with all of it, but we're not. We're not there yet. I keep fighting to get there, but I don't know.
I don't regret getting that car. I love that car. But
I get it. It's a cool car.
But it drives really well.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
And the tech is really great on it. Unfortunately, I'm not the one who's like, "Oh, it's electric. I'm saving the earth." I'm not that way.
You're not. Not only you're not saving the earth, we don't even know what we're going to do with this car when.
No, I'm saying I wasn't motivated by that. I was motivated slightly by hoping it's the wave of the future, but it's really, now that I've had one for 2.5 years, it's not, because the infrastructure doesn't support us charging the car at every turn. Like, gas stations.
So when you drive from where you live now back to LA, you pretty much go through a battery, right? Yeah,
basically.
Okay. I mean, how do you get back home?
I have to charge in Burbank, or I'll stop in Oxnard and charge, do my LA stuff, and then stop at Oxnard and charge again.
Okay.
Oxnard is like the halfway point for me.
Okay. So you live in an area that has these charging. Go around the country, Anna.
No, I know. That's why I won't take it on a road trip.
There's no.
Oh, I'm very honest about that. I will never take that car on a road trip. And other Tesla owners get on me because they're like, "Why not? We took ours. We went to Utah. We went to Canada. I'm like, okay, good for you. I don't feel comfortable doing that.
Knock yourself out. Get stuck out in the middle of nowhere.
I pushed it a little too far, and I was just driving home from Orchid to, San Ynez, which is a 22-mile drive. And I pushed it way too far, and I had like 12 miles left. So I drove with the car rolled up and tried to coast, which you can't coast because it's regenerative braking. It was a mess. And I was like, "Ooh, God, I just want to make it home." Oh. I don't like it. I don't like that feeling.
All right. So what else happened besides?
The point is, we went off on the Tesla thing. The point is, and by the way, I'm just going to be a voice of dissenting opinion, saying sometimes we do have to make different choices so that we choose with our pocketbooks, because people yelled at us about grass-fed beef 10 years ago and said we were crazy. And now look at the price point's gone down. And I know it's a lot it's a lot easier to pivot on something like grass-fed beef than it is on car manufacturing. But I'm saying you got to start somewhere, but don't be Pollyanna about it. We probably won't change in our lifetime, but you do got to start somewhere. That's kind of how I feel about it. Just wanted to share. So yeah, spreading that information about how meat is actually sustainable, I think is really important. Our girlfriend, Nina Teicholz, and by our girlfriend, I mean everyone who listens to this podcast, Nina Teicholz needs to be your girlfriend. She's amazing. She's the author of Big Fat Surprise. She's been in Vinnie's movies, all of them, and she's incredible, and you need to get her books.
If Serena ever leaves me, I will try to convince Nina to leave her husband. That's just a fact.
I think that's a good plan, and I support that.
Yeah, and he would have to take the kids with him. There's a lot of moving parts.
This one, and maybe you guys already talked about this in your interview, but she basically talked about, and this is, let me read what David wrote. Another great presentation from the quote meat wars front was given by Nina Teicholz, the author of Big Fat Surprise. She talked about a study that came out just last month in which the authors posit a theory that red meat causes heart disease by raising levels of a gut metabolite called TMAO. Pretty interesting. But then Teicholz shares a list of foods that raise TMAO higher than red meat: carrots, cauliflower, peas, peanuts, potatoes.
Anna, let me stop you. That's the conversation, folks. Listen next Friday.
Okay, great.
This is the reason Nina's coming on. I don't just have Nina willy-nilly. It's always when she has something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, regardless, the story was picked up by 92 news outlets, indicating that a huge PR effort was likely behind it. And what did I just say, Vinnie? Those vegans have amazing, they are a machine. We could learn something. You and I especially could learn something because, my God, they out PR people constantly. It's like, do they print money or they just know how to like get to everyone's soft spot? I don't know what it is, but they're good at it.
Oh, by the way, if people want to know what TMAO is, it's an oxide. I can never pronounce the first word, but it's trimethylamine. You know what? I'll spell it for you. It's TRIMETH. So trimethylamine. So trimethylamine in oxide. So TMAO is for short. And Nina and I have talked about TMAO in the past and how that's not. And we're going to be talking about it next Friday. So you guys, please tune in for that. What else you got there, Anna?
Ben Bakikio made a great speech. You love him.
Basically, look,
these are all your favorite people.
Yeah. For the audience that doesn't know this, they'll go, why aren't you ever there? Well, the organizers of the event thinks I'm Satan for some reason.
Why?
Oh, you don't know about this?
No.
I did nothing wrong.
What?
I've been nothing but nice to the guy. The people that run that event, when I was doing a documentary, the first one, we noticed that half of the people doing that were going to be in our movie that we had already asked to be in our movie, they were going to be there.
Right.
So to save money, as you know, I was doing this on a tight budget. I said, wait, instead of bringing the mountain, bring Muhammad to the mountain, we'll bring the mountain. Yeah. So we went down there. We got a hotel room in the hotel where this event was being held. We got several rooms right next to each other, and we turned one into a sound stage. We turned one into video village, and we had cables running from room to room. And we went in and did a whole Hollywood studio in that hotel.
Right.
And, Gary Tiles knew we were going to be there, and just a bunch of people. And we said, look, whenever you're not doing your talk, come on up and do your interview. Right. And so that was the deal.
Would you make somebody late for their interview or their talk or something?
Nope. Nothing bad happened. We went in, we did what we did. We left, and we took the rooms, Hollywood crew, zip, 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 put the beds back. They had to unbolt the beds and everything from the table. They cleared these rooms. If the hotel knew what we did to those rooms, but they put everything back, and when we were done, it looked like they actually made the beds. It looked like
they probably cleaned it better underneath the beds.
Yeah, it was all clean. It was clean.
But also, what you're describing to me is a very typical media go to these events and cover
right
and interview people. Like
Yeah.
not, and it's not like a part of the event. Media just knows that all these luminaries are going to be at a thing. I'm going to set up. This happens all the time. This is what press junkets are too. So you're
Absolutely.
not describing anything that's
I'm
too
not.
crazy.
I wasn't doing anything nutty, and I
Yeah.
wasn't taking away from anything. We did the event. That's where I met Brian Lenzkes. Met a few
Right.
other people there, and that's where I met Ross Taylor for the first time. He and his wife, and came home, and we were working on doing the second shoot of the movie, which was going to be at my house and the whole thing. And I started getting rumblings. This one saying, "Hey, did you hear? Did you know?" Or blah blah blah. I'm like, "What?"
Rumblings from whom?
I don't want to mention names. So
Oh,
I'm like, what did I do again? Well, they were upset that you came and hijacked their event. They had to pay for these people to come down there, and these people are now talking to you. And I'm like, what?
okay. So when I went to KetoCon, I had interviews set up. My PR team set up interviews, and I went and did them. That has nothing. You know what I mean?
So
There's nothing wrong with them doing that.
We did
with
nothing
you
wrong.
doing that.
We did nothing wrong. So I started finding out.
I feel
more
very
about it.
angry right now.
All right. Well, you're going to get angrier. The wife is a husband and wife that runs the event. The wife apparently didn't like the fact that every time I had to, like I would come down the elevator and meet the next person and bring them up to the room. And then a half a dozen people would go, Anna, you know what happens to us at event.
Yeah.
Hey, Anna, it's a quick selfie. So people, the word got out. I was like, hey, Vinnie's here. So people say he comes down the elevator about once every hour. And by the way, Serena's here. You want to take a picture with the Bond girl? Serena's here. And apparently Sean Baker showed up at the event. Also, Sean Baker wasn't speaking, but between Sean and me being out in the hallway, we became a bigger event than what was going on.
Why didn't they have Sean Baker speaking?
I don't know.
I guess he's probably a California guy. So
it was before Sean was like Sean. And I don't know. Sean was there. I was there. Apparently, we had a bigger draw going on outside in the hall than inside the thing. People are like, no, hang out here. They keep coming out and they keep showing up and the whole thing. So I didn't know any of this.
That's not your fault.
I just saw a fan. Hey, yeah, quick selfie. Let's do it. I got to get back up there. I'm sorry. I love you. I got to go. Right. And they apparently had a problem with that, a big problem. So I said something about it on the podcast. Apparently,
I remember this now. Yeah.
They got more upset about that.
Well, they're going to be more upset now.
I don't care. I'm just, me, I always speak the truth.
But this whole thing is an advertisement for them because obviously we just talked about how they had these great guests, but Vinnie.
I called the guy, got on the phone. I said, look, I brought him on a podcast even. We talked, I brought him on a Friday show and we talked. And his name is slipping my mind right now. But I said, look, after the show, I said, if you want this event to be bigger next year, here's what you do. Invite a guy like me who has a big audience, and Anna and I will start yammering about it weeks in advance, and give us, since we charge for advertising, put a promo code. Whatever we sell, give us 10%. You'll still make a shit ton of money because we're going to put asses in seats.
Can I just give an addendum here?
Go on.
The promo code for KetoCon, we did not make any money off of that. I want you guys to know that. Full disclosure.
Yeah.
That was one we just did because we wanted people to go to KetoCon.
Because
but that's usually what you do.
Yeah.
You do promo code and then you get an affiliate commission. But this, I just want to be clear.
I told this guy, look, if you guys, and notice we didn't advertise KetoCon week in and week out. We mentioned it a couple of times.
Right.
I said we could do an ad campaign and it'll be a win-win.
Absolutely.
And when the time came, they never called me. They never did anything. Like a week or two before the event, I heard from the guy and he goes, hey, would you like to come down and do 45 minutes? I said, yeah, when's the event? He goes, next weekend. I'm like,
somebody must have dropped out.
Now I think he thought I would. It's like last second, you're bringing me in last second.
Yeah.
I went because Gary Fettke was going to be there, who was in my movie. Nina was going to be there. I was going to be able to hang out with friends. So I drove down there and did a song, in a Dog and Pony, and you know,
Oh, that's good.
But they never invited me back again. And I like the guy.
Oh,
I've always been told that, you know, they're not big fans of me. That's what keeps coming back to me. So, okay, that's fine. I'm good. I'm good with all of it. What else you got? What else happened?
Okay. Well, we can wrap it up. It's just basically a little more Ben Bacicchio talking about mitochondria, which we love the mitochondria.
Yeah.
A little bit of zone 2. And then Mark Cucuzzella, Dr. Mark Cucuzzella, who has probably the funnest name to say other than Vinnie Tortorich.
No, it's better than Vinnie Tortorich.
From the law firm of Tortorich and Cucuzzella.
Apparently, he quoted me at that event. Mark Cucuzzella.
He did?
Yeah, someone wrote to me and said, "Hey, Mark Cucuzzella quoted you at KETO San Diego." On my thing about the fitness middle class, because Mark and I we shared a stage 2 weeks ago at a different event, and Mark and I are big fans of each other. He's been on the show a few times, and Mark, he came up to me after my talk and he goes, "I like that fitness middle class thing you're talking about. I'm going to use that." I went, "Knock yourself out. You know, use my material. I don't care."
Well, he's talking about the sedentary lifestyles, which, you know, again, I know that we've been saying for years because you've been saying for years, and now I say what you say.
Right.
that
you and Mark.
That me and Mark, we like to copy you.
Yeah.
And imitation's the sincerest form of flattery.
It is. Oh, by the way,
you have to change your diet, but then you also eventually got to move your body. What did you say? Diet is something, but exercise is the fountain of youth.
Yeah.
That's a Vinnie phrase. Say it. Say the whole phrase.
If you want to lose weight, you got to change your diet. Exercise is a poor way to lose weight. And people go, well, why should I exercise? Because it's the fountain of youth.
Right. That's it.
And they're not.
Love it.
Yeah. They're not. They're synonymous, but they're not. No, they're not synonymous. Did you know Marie became a big hit on the Facebook page? I was told this by.
What did she say?
I was told this by Marie herself today.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Apparently,
that's a biased opinion.
Yeah, because my cousin is in the group.
Okay.
Lori Jardina.
Okay.
Lori, Lori Jardina.
Okay.
She put a picture up of my mom. And so people have never seen a picture of Marie. I haven't seen it. If you can screenshot it and send it to me, it'd be great. Apparently there's a lot of comments.
But yeah. Okay.
That's maybe my thing. I don't know how to go find it.
Yeah, maybe get Megan to find it.
Megan, get on it.
Megan.
You're my mom. Yeah. You
don't have a picture of your mom in your wallet?
No, I have pictures of her around the office.
Oh, okay.
I can't see a picture of him in my wallet. I never understood the wallet pictures.
I know. The wallet pictures are weird.
We're sitting on you all day. I'd rather look and go, oh, look, there she is. All right, folks, you know what to do. Anna Vocino has eathappykitchen.com. She's got powders. Oh, I did a steak last night with the powder. I mean, I do a steak every day with your powder, but
I love it.
You're not there. Go check out everything she's doing. You want to get the gravies, go get the gravies.
Right this minute, we have 20 twin packs of marinara, regular marinara left in stock.
Get it.
So go get them.
Go get them now.
Go get them. I know that half the country's in a heat wave, so you're probably not thinking that.
Get your marinara. Put it on that. Drink it through a straw.
The other decision we had to make, too, as a business, I'm going to mention this on the Monday show, is the spices that we currently have in stock, our delicious, fresh powders that you're talking about, the barbecue, the dill, the taco, are all we're going to have through the Christmas season. We are choosing not to make more before Christmas because we're changing some packaging. And so when we're sold out, we're sold out. So I just want to throw that out there because I know a lot of folks want that little 3-pack for a gift, which I think is going to be a good hostess gift.
Yeah.
For the people. Yeah. Anyway.
Get a bunch of those. Oh,
Anna, get it.
That's what I'm going to do this year for Christmas gifts for stuffers. I'm going to do that.
Because once you've been listening for a while, you've already bought a bunch of books, and everybody's like, "Yeah, I got it.
I've been doing your books for years. I'm going to do the powders.
The spice. It's because it's a cute little 3-pack box. It's
and it looks like a little thing. Yeah. So folks, go check all that out with me. You know what to do. We all go shopping on Amazon. Before you go to Amazon, go to VinnieTortorich.com, click through the banner, bookmark it, use it every time. We also have a super fan page, and I do appreciate everyone who goes to VinnieTortorich.com and supports us through the super fan page.